doing today? I'm gonna be swatching my Crayola Super Tips, so get ready for that. So, I'm actually in the process of getting rid of some of my markers, and the Crayola Super Tips is gonna definitely be one that takes a big hit. And I have the 100 pack. Let's just see. There are 22 green markers here. Um, I made sure not to get ones that would be like considered completely blue, but like I did get this teal, but that's like, and maybe this one might be a little bit blue, but like you would definitely call that green. This one is a little bit iffy, but then like that's 21 out of 100 are green, and that's too many, right? like, because if you think you have, even if you just go by like the basic 8 pack, 100 divided by 8 is 12 and a half, and like this is way more than that. And then that's not accounting for like, so the 8 pack, maybe that has a black. I mean, maybe that has a, yeah, maybe that has a black, so that will have, there's not a lot of different black markers that you could do, but, and maybe it has a white, so there's not a lot of white markers you could do, but that doesn't account for pink or, does it have brown? I think the 8 pack does have brown. I'm not sure what's in the Crayola 8 pack. I don't know why I said that. But anyway, I thought I would swatch all of my green Crayola Super Tips. I got out all of my green Sharpies. I thought we could swatch all of those also. And then I have already been working on organizing my markers. So here's one section of markers that I have. There's a couple of greens in there. There's a couple of greens in my Stedler Tripless fine liners. And then I just made this. So I organized this. I got rid of some of my Marvula pens. But there's some green ones in there. So I had a lot of doubles. So you can see these are the pens that I'm getting rid of. So I had some doubles, and I definitely had some doubles of the greens. And then I have some more pens over here. You can see them there. But yeah, I haven't gone through my Crayola Super Tips or my Sharpies yet. So you can see I've been like doing a lot of like little swatches and like little tester strips. And then here I've been cataloging all of my pens. I know this is like crazy pen obsession, but I've been cataloging all of my pens, and like these are separated by type of pen. So like these are all the Zig Fudabiori pens here, and these are all the Marvula Pen Flex here. But I also kind of want to catalog them by color. And then the thought is I will put all of these catalog pages into this book. And then I'll be able to keep this book on my shelf and then reference it whenever I need like a certain, like if I'm wanting to color something green, instead of having to go through every single pen and like checking it, then I'll know exactly where it is. I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying something. But yeah, so let's for now, let's go through and swatch all of the Crayola Super Tips. A happy St. Patrick's Day. I don't know if I said that yet, but that's why I'm doing green today. So I'm going to start with this teal one because that's the one that's like least likely to be green. If it won a senior superlative in the yearbook, it would be least likely to be green. Yeah, I don't know. Would you consider that green or would you consider that blue? There's definitely, I have issue with green. And that is, like, it covers so much. Like, it covers, um, like, almost yellow, and it covers almost green. And then in, like, the color spectrum, like the rainbow, if you think about Roy G. Biv, indigo covers that like middle ground between violet and blue. Okay, that's fine. But then like there's nothing between blue and green which covers that like teal portion. You know? I don't know. so, so I don't know. I think about green quite a lot. I often feel like when I do like a nice gradient spectrum, I don't feel like red and violet work for me in like this dimension. Like I'm not coloring with light and like wavelengths of light. So when I'm coloring with like markers and stuff, I feel like starting at green and then wrapping around to green again, that just like in my brain that works. You know how some people can like they have like this visual map of the calendar, like January is up here and then December is over here. Have you ever heard of that? Well, uh, I have that, but with color. All right, so another thing that I feel about the Crayola Super Tips is that the color that comes out of the marker doesn't always match the cap. So if I find any that don't match, I'm not keeping it. All right, so let's do this next one. That's also a really nice teal. Matches the cap pretty well. So that one's good. Does anyone have any good St. Patrick's Day memories? So I don't really have. I mean, I love corned beef and cabbage. My husband is Irish, or he's of Irish descent, and so he has some Irish traditions. But I love corned beef and cabbage, and like that's something that my mom always makes. So I love that. But like one of my biggest memories about St. Patrick's Day is making leprechaun traps in school. I went to a one-room schoolhouse, so it was like really like I remember doing this like because you're in the same room, same school, and same teachers as like the first graders are the same class as fourth graders. So I remember like this was like a big thing that we did all together. All right, so these three here all look pretty close. So I'm probably not going to keep all of those. And I love that. So then like you made I guess on the 16th you would make your sorry, my brain. You would make your leprechaun trap on the 16th. You would put it out. And then when you come back on the 17th in the morning, you would see if you caught the leprechaun. Like you would leave little candies and like Lucky Charms and glitter and stuff. Or like just things that you would want the leprechaun to get trapped in. And I remember at one time I put like treasure trolls, because I mean, I love treasure trolls. And so I remember I put treasure trolls as kind of like a siren type of deal. So that was really funny. And then of course, like, you never catch the leprechaun, but the leprechaun like leaves behind like little candies and glitter and stuff as their like way to show that they were there. Kind of like how Santa eats a bite of cookie and drinks a little bit of the milk. Well, that's definitely a good memory for me from my one-room schoolhouse days. Alright, so this is different. These last three were like different, but the three before that, they basically are all the same. No need to keep all of them. But let me just keep going. So the greens seem to be matching pretty well to the caps, but sometimes, especially with the purples, I find that they don't match the cap at all. That really bothers me. And it's not like I misplaced the caps, because the bottom matches the cap, so you can always make sure that that's right. And so, like, the ink doesn't even match the bottom part. Just before I got on this live, I was watching the last Tiny Desk concert that NPR put out, and it was Third Eye Blind. It was excellent, and you should watch it if you want to watch it. But I will spoil it a little bit. So like, it's like the man. I don't know the man's name. Like the front man of Third Eye Blind. He had the flu and was like only a couple of days out, but like was so looking forward to doing this Tiny Desk concert, and like rallied and got together, and he was like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And like you can tell that like he barely has a voice when he's singing, but it's still like really good. And it's like so nostalgic, and so he's old, you know? Like he was Third Eye Blind was big like 25 years ago, and or more. And so yeah, it was interesting to see him. And then the band was great. That's why I love watching the Tiny Desk concerts, because the band is always so great. And they're fun to see them spotlit a little bit. So yeah, I definitely recommend watching that. I'm probably going to watch it again with my husband. So, did I mention I've been cataloging? Yeah, I did. I've been cataloging all of my pens and markers and getting rid of some. I might do a giveaway at some point of this box, which is going to continue to grow and get more. But there's some good stuff in there. Some brush mild liners, some nice juicy jelly roll pens, and this like sparkle pop pen. Some of them are like close to dead but not completely dead, so that is part. But this one's practically new. Not that one, this one. This one's practically new. I just have a double of it, so I might as well pass it on to someone who can like really be happy about having that. And then these are all practically new, the Marvila pens. So I'm probably going to do a giveaway of those when I'm finished cataloging everything. I do like how the Crayola Super Tips, they have really dark versions of every color. They have like more muted gray colors of every color or hues versions. And I always appreciate a good, nice spectrum of greens. I know I was saying that it's like too many greens. 22 is too many for devoted just to green. But that's not because 22 is too many. It's because like the 4 or however many of some of the other colors got like is too few. These are really nice. So something that I'm planning on doing, and I have an example here, is making some color sprays. So let me just do a little... I don't like spraying this like out in the open so much. I usually take all of my papers that I want to spray into the bathroom to spray it. So I do a lot of spraying like that. And the way I made the spray is by putting some brown Sharpies into isopropyl alcohol. Now, that is because Sharpies are alcohol based. I'm pretty sure with Crayola Super Tips, the same thing will work with just water. So I have some spray bottles ready for that. I have a green one right here. And yeah, I'll just throw the innards of the marker into that, and then I'll have a spray ready to go. I always wonder if people would prefer just listening to the markers, or if people would prefer listening to me blather on about whatever I feel like. Alright, so like this one's pretty close to this one. It's a little lighter. Alright, so these are making a liar out of me. I think all of the greens are like spot on with the caps. But yeah, those are all the green Crayola Super Tips. This will help me figure out which ones I want to keep and which ones I want to get rid of. But let's see the Sharpies now. And some of these might actually be the same color. So you'll see what I mean, I think, if I get the ones like... I assume by the cap that these are all the same color, but let's see if they actually are. So you see what I mean? Like, those aren't the same color, but the caps look all similar. Wow, a lot of my Sharpies are dead. Or like dying. But I think they'll better serve me as sprays now. Okay, then. There's one Sharpie metallic green. Or at least one that I have. That one's still good. I will keep that. It's a little scratchy, but that's okay. And I know this one's good. Or I really hope it is. So the Sharpie Ultra Fine. So these are all Sharpie fine points. The Sharpie Ultra Fine doesn't have like a conical tip. So like with this Sharpie, you can kind of get a little bit of line size variance. So you have a fatter one, and then if you use just the tip, you can have a thinner one. It's not that much of a difference, but it is possible. But this one, you just have the one. So I would consider this more of a fine liner than a traditional marker. So I do have a space for... Oh no. I don't have a space. I have a space for like my other markers, like my thin markers. And then I have my fine liners, which I have some black ones here. So like I have my liners here, but yeah, I would consider these most like the Marvila pens. So I'm wondering if I will keep the Sharpie, the ultra fine points Sharpies with the Marvila pens. I'm not quite sure. Something to think about though, because the main difference between these is like this one bleeds more. This one's like a permanent marker. It's alcohol based. Like there's differences between them, but I'm trying to I'm trying to organize everything by way of how I would use it. I should also see how this one compares to my Marvila pen. It's a little bit thicker, the color's a little bit different, but it is definitely scratchier. The Sharpie. Well, I might get rid of this one too. So out of all of my Sharpies, only 2 of them made it, and like just barely. Like compared to my other markers, I might actually get rid of these too. No, the metallic one's still good. And then yeah. So I'm going to keep these Sharpies. So I'm going to put them just here for now. And I can't store them upside down if I do that, because then I can't see what color they are. So I might put them in there because this is clear and you can kind of see the bottom. But that might not be the end point for them. I'm still working on my organization. But now we can go through and swatch all of my green pens. Well, let me get a paper out. And like my thinner markers. So this is the Faber-Castell. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this is the Faber-Castell grip. So the selling point for this marker is just a typical, like, bullety point marker tip, felt tip marker. But the selling point is the grip of it because it has these little bumps. And it is a triangle. Like, I don't know how to show how it's a triangle, but you have to trust me. It's a triangle so that your fingers can go thumb here, index here, middle here, and you have a nice grip. So that's similar to the Staedtler tripless fine liners. And let's see, I have I have 3, maybe 4 greens. So I do think that these have names, like color names, but I'm not sure. So I have 3 greens, and maybe this one you would consider a green too. So let's just write those out. I'm going to try to imitate the I abandoned that right away. So this one is a thinner 0.3 millimeter tip. It is also like a really thin felt tip. So it's a fine liner, so I think of it more like a pen or like a drawing implement than a coloring marker. And then these fine liners come in this really cool case. I'm a big fan of the case. So you can keep your pens like this. And when you open up the case, it is a nice, like, if you keep them like this, you can just grab the pen that you want. You can still see it from the front. And then it closes nicely and flat. Let's see. And Stabilo. How many greens do I have? Is this a green or a blue? I'm going to put it on this just in case. So these do have names, and I have them written out. So the marker for this is, where are you? Why am I lost? Okay, there. So the marker for this is a nice conical tip. And it is much bigger than the Staedtler fine liner. So you can definitely use this for coloring smaller things, but it's still considered a finer line. It's not like, I wouldn't grab it if I want to color a big, like, area. So let's see if the... Okay, here's the stabilo. So those are called eucalyptus, pistachio, and mud green. I went to the ice cream parlor yesterday, and I wanted to get pistachio for like the holiday, and they were out of pistachio, so I must have not been the only person who wanted to celebrate in that way. I was gonna get pistachio in a cone with a scoop of butter pecan on top. But then they had butter pecan, but not pistachio. Have you heard it pronounced pistachio? I've thought about, sometimes I think about pronouncing it that way. So this has a really nice, it looks the same as the other conical tips, but it's flexy. So you can get a really good, like, difference between your upstrokes and your downstrokes if you're doing calligraphy. That's the lightest pen in the world, so it's hard to see that. But that's the only green that I have that's flexy. Then I have the other... So I talked about these already, the Le Pens. And these are very similar to the Sharpies or to the... gosh, what is the word? The Triplus fine liners. They have like a really thin line. And like these are a pen. They're marketed as a pen, but they are like a fine liner. I'm making a video that is going to be talking about like the differences between pens and markers. And I recorded it and like I kind of just sound like a nutter, like a like I sound unhinged talking about pens because I do really care about them. And but basically in that I'm talking about how there's not really a definitive difference between markers and pens. So this is UB. This is a... So I just got out all of my like jelly roll specialty pens. So this is UB. I love this pen. With the UBs, they kind of like some of the colors. I got a lot of the colors like in a pack, but a lot of the colors just didn't do it for me. But I like this green one a lot. And then I have the Sparkle Pop and Crazy Pops from Pentel. So here's the green Sparkle Pop. Oops, sorry. And then the Crazy Pops, they are more of like a... What's the word? Like a shifting. So it still has a lot of sparkle in it, but it shifts from different to different colors. It is overcast here, so it's probably like the worst time for me to try to show that kind of sparkle. But this one shifts from green to red, so it's a really good one for Christmas. And this one's from from green to yellow. And then the Sparkle Pop's just green. And then I do have a lot of green, juicy, what are they called? Pilot juices. So this is an apple. Is it? No, this is in leaf. Let me just move this down so you can see better. Okay, there we go. This one's apple. And this one is just called green. So these two, the first two are 0.7. And then this one's a 1.0. So that's those three. Ooh, right there. The apple is really not coming up that well. And it is a lot lighter than the other ones, but it's much easier to see in person. And then I had a vintage Sarasa clip. This I think is called, I'm not sure what this is called. Green black maybe? Let's see. It is called dark green. So that's easy enough. And I actually think I have another Sarasa. And this is just green. Is it just green? It's Viridian. I used to get Viridian, like the word Viridian and Vermilion mixed up. And I was like, why is that green? That's supposed to be red. Or orange, I guess. And I have 3 mild liners. We're almost done. We're almost done with all of my green pens. So my 3 mild liners. Mild liners, they come with a broad chisel tip and a fine pen tip, which is one of those conical felt tip markers. Or if you get the brush pen, it still comes with a conical felt tip marker on one side, but on the other side it comes with a brush. So I'll show that one first. So this is the mild liner, brush. I should have written that backwards so that the brush would be with the brush pen, but that's how it goes. And then that is just called green. Then this one is, I think this is called like Citron or something. So same thing, it's really hard to see in this lighting, but it's there. I don't think this will help it. Oh no. And then this one, I'm not sure what this one's called. Let me take a look at my cheat sheets. Yeah. This is summer green. So I had a hard time finding it. I had a hard time finding it because my brain didn't register that as green because it's like more aqua. My dumb brain. Then let's see, I think I have an olive in here. Yeah. Olive. And then just to see what the brush tip is like. Alright, then I have two more brush pens. I have Kuretake. Oh, do I have three? No, I have two. Kuretake Zig Fudabiore. I don't know why it has so many names. Like so many brand names. But I don't know if Zig is a type of pen, or Fudabiore is a type of pen, maybe. Kuretake is like the company. I don't know. So I have green and I have marine green. I always mess up my O's on which one's the upstroke and which one's the downstroke. Alright. So that's all of my markers and pens. So those are all of the green super tips. And here are all of my pens that I have kept. And thank you so much for joining me on this rainy day. I hope to see you. Oh, I just remembered. I have one more. It's this Sweet to Pear melon soda. The oh, I didn't talk about the Fudabiore thing. Those are a nice bigger brush marker. That's all. The melon soda. This is the Sweet to Pear. It's shaped kind of like the nose of a tapir. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. But and they're mild. They're not like neon highlighters, so that's nice. It is a highlighter. And oh, it's scented. So this is scented like melon soda. And then this side's scented like vanilla. So that's they're double-sided with different colors, so that's cool. But yeah, so that's all of my green pens and markers. And happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you next time. Bye.